searching for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been looking for a boy who can treat me right. Your dark hair, but those eyes so bright.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another week of Scheananigans. We've got Kiki and Jared back for a segment today, and then you all sent through a bunch of prompts for me to try and defend. I might have opened up a can of worms on that one, but we're going to get into it. But first, I saw your content this weekend about the alleged catfishing saga with Tommy Lee's wife, Brittany. The story's wild, but can you catch us all up on what the fuck is going on here?
Basically, Brittany Ferlin, who is Tommy Lee's wife, had been messaging with a guy that she believed to be Ronnie Radke, who I didn't know who Ronnie Radke was before.
Is he related to Carl?
No, I did discover that. They're not related.
Okay.
But he is in a band, I think it's called like Falling in Reverse or something. He's an emo guy.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So,
emo.
And she had been messaging with someone on Snapchat that she believed to be him, to the point where she was showing up at the house. The guy was like, oh, meet me at my house. And she'd be like, I'm here. And like nobody would show up. And it was like, whatever. It basically got all blown up. We find out that Tommy Lee and Brittany have split, right? And the story is it had to do with his drinking. But then it all comes out where it's like, no, it's because she got catfished. And I think, and so now Brittany is like living in like a hotel, and she did this whole video to explain like why she doesn't believe she was catfished and why she believes Ronnie was behind the Snapchat, which sends Ronnie to a crazy place because now he is like, no, I'm going to prove to you why like I was not the catfish and you're just embarrassed trying to save face. Because the reality is you were kind of doing shady stuff behind your husband's back. And now in order to save face, you don't want to be doubly embarrassed by the fact that you were catfished. Because let's be real, like all of our greatest fear is ever being called a boomer. Like doesn't matter what age you are, but when you do boomer like activities, like getting catfish, you're like, it's embarrassing. And for someone who was like a Vine superstar, married to Tommy Lee, getting catfish, mortifying.
Truly.
Wow.
So this is where we are. So Ronnie has been basically trolling Brittany online with all of these videos, and like he's hard. From what I hear about, look, Ronnie is not the best guy. From what I hear, he's not.
Where does he come from?
Well, that's the thing. His history. He used to date Jenna King from Southern Charm season 1, and he apparently at some point was in prison involving some murder. I don't know, but he was in prison at some point. He's now just a rock star. He was dating Soraya. She used to go by Paige. Okay.
Yeah.
He used to date her for a long time. They just broke up. So like he's in it.
Out there.
Yeah. He's not the greatest guy, but at the end of the day, like I'm taking his side on this one because he seems to have all the receipts to prove like this was not my account. And Brittany, just admit you got catfish and you were doing this. And I think Tommy Lee at the end of the day is also probably embarrassed because he's just like, why is my girl even on Snapchat entertaining these things? I'm fucking Tommy Lee.
Right.
And we know what his dick looks like. So
Yeah, that's true. So fuck around with
you
that
don't want
one.
to like lose that.
Oh my gosh.
So do they think it might just be like a kid catfishing her? Like some middle school? Like also, do we still use Snapchat?
I use Snapchat.
Yeah, but not to like catfish people.
No, not to catfish people.
Yeah. So do we have like an inkling of, is this like a 13-year-old kid who's just like obsessed with Brittany Ferlin?
Well, this is what we need to get to the bottom of, because also other women have come forward and said like, I fell for this account too, and he had me show up. If this guy is actually luring women away, that's actually like crazy and dangerous. So
freaky.
We do want to get behind like, who is it? Because I did go through could this have been one of Ronnie's friends, right? Like I've seen people in the industry who like are close with people, they know enough about them, have started catfishing other people because they know enough information.
I do that with Scheana all the time.
But if this is just some random stranger, like we need to like, that's totally creepy.
Creepy
but
as
also
hell.
why, like, for even her to like even, who was someone with her when she showed up? I don't know. The whole thing is just.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Falling prey to that is crazy. That is crazy work.
Yeah.
That is absolutely crazy.
And look, with AI and everything, I understand like it can get harder and harder. But this was a situation where you could go to his Instagram, you could see the videos that were on there were being uploaded to Snapchat as the same videos. Like it wasn't anything, because I'd be like, if I'm famous enough, I'm going to be like, let's FaceTime. Let's call my phone.
Right.
And especially if I'm going to show up to your house, I better have your phone number to FaceTime you.
And nowadays, yes, totally. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm not going to, I don't
Lord.
want to say who because I don't want to put him on blast.
Because it's in the book.
But no, it's actually not in the book. And this is actually something I've never admitted to. I do think maybe not. I was catfished by a professional football player back in 2009.
Really?
A Heisman Trophy winner who had just graduated college and was like first round pick at the NFL draft. Okay. So we met through Twitter, but through that, there was another person who he had graduated with who was playing for the Eagles, and it was his verified account, who I would talk to on Twitter. We had a mutual friend in the state that this person had graduated from. So there were some connections. It got to, and there's no iPhones. 2009, I don't have an iPhone. I think I have a BlackBerry or whatever still. But we would talk all of the time. He would call me on the phone, and his voice, I would then go and compare with interviews that he did. And I'm like, no, that's him, but he didn't live in California. So we were just talking all of the time, would text, talk on the phone. But then it was like, oh, I want to like see your face. Can we do like a video call? And whatever was the Zoom before Zoom and FaceTime, I remember doing that one time and his camera was broken.
See, no.
And I'm like,
every time.
However, when I tell you who this person is, it kind of made sense.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, maybe he's worried that I'm going to record something. And I'll just say this is like a very Christian person.
Okay.
So I was like, it makes sense that maybe he's worried I might, and then like put something out there. I don't know. But it got to the point, and I'm single as fuck in 2009.
Yeah.
I'm doing whatever I'm doing. When I talked to him, I was just like, oh, cool, so-and-so. But again, came from their verified Twitter account. I even checked the phone number and like traced that to the city in the state that he was from. And like, we were like really investigating.
Yeah.
I never showed up to meet this person.
Yeah.
There was one time where I think he was supposed to be in LA for something, but then I was maybe in Texas with my family and we never met in person.
Okay.
But I'm
and
like,
this is pre-fame for you, right? 2009.
way pre.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like maybe like John Mayer days, like a little bit after that, but pre anything.
Yeah.
Your body was a
Vanderpump.
wonderland.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. And so, I mean, I would talk to him all the time, but I always was wondering, like, am I getting catfish? Like, is this really him? And eventually I just stopped talking to him because I'm like, if we're never going to meet up in person and you're not even going to turn your like video on, your camera's broken.
Did you send nudes?
I do think I maybe showed a boob on one of the things, I'm like, whatever. I'm like 22, 23. And then I'm like, turn your camera on.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see you. But
that sounds like it was one of the friends who might have been running the account because like I do like if he had access to the verified Twitter back then, you couldn't get verified unless you really were the person.
Well, then I remember like seeing an interview with like his brother and I was like, oh my God, is it the brother?
Oh.
Like the voices are kind of similar. And it freaked me out that I was like, I'm never talking to this person again. Like I stopped talking to him. Nothing ever happened other than like maybe I showed a boob on a thing, whatever.
I love it's just a single boob.
Single boob.
Maybe one, just like you get a little bit, you see me in person, you get both. But then get this, about maybe 10 years ago, now that I am somebody in this industry, Scheana Shay is a person on TV. I'm at Jingle Ball in New York at Madison Square Garden, and that football player is there. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, do I say something? Like, was it really him? Was it not? Like, and he just kept looking at me all night. And it was so awkward that I'm like, are you looking at me because you know it's me and you used to talk to me? And now you're like, oh shit, now she's somebody.
Oh.
But I just decided to not say anything to him because I'm like, I don't know if the people he's with, if that's like his girlfriend or I just let it go.
Oh, God. I would have had to. I think I would have had to know.
I think at the time I was either, when I ran into him, I was very much in a relationship, whether it was Shay or Rob, I don't know. It was sometime in the last 10 years, whenever I think Taylor Swift performed at Jingle Ball. But he was there and kept staring at me. And I was just like, ew, it gave me the creepiest vibes because I'm like, if it was you, you were weird. And if it wasn't you, it just.
You got to tighten up the team.
Because, I think even if it wasn't him, he probably knew because, again, he had access to those accounts to know. So maybe he was okay with like his brother doing that or whatever.
Right.
And who knows? And it's even weirder.
And the people like the Mormons, to tie it in, that we were just talking about, who are very devout in their faith at a young age and through college. And then, you get a huge NFL contract offer and you're like being sent out into the world for the first time, they do things that are, not really approved of by the church.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I don't know. I want no part of this. He does not play in the NFL anymore. So thankfully, I don't have to see him on my TV, but it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Oh my.
Because even if I did like meet him or went up to him that day, he could have been like, no, that wasn't me, because he was embarrassed maybe.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I'll never truly know.
Yeah. Well, maybe he'll hear this and then maybe he'll slap it.
Yeah,
It was me.
The truth will come out
I need to
soon.
repent.
Anyways, was I catfished? Was I not? We'll never know.
We'll never know, but
Only the Heisman Trophy winner will.
yeah.
And it started out, I think it was his friend had slid into my DMs first. And I know I was really talking to his friend, and then he swooped in, or his brother or friend. I don't fucking know. Weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, so y'all know that Rylee Cru Collective has been one of my favorite brands that I've been dressing this summer in for years. I just had her in one of their outfits yesterday, this terry cloth tan with white flowers outfit that had a matching bucket hat. The absolute cutest. The Rylee Cru Collective, so they combine art and imagination, and that's what I love about this brand. So many things are unisex. They offer unique clothing for modern children and moms. And each collection, they feature hand-drawn illustrations, which are just so adorable. I'm obsessed. And they're paired with beautiful muted tones, timeless designs. And let me tell you that Rylee Cru is more than just a clothing brand. It's a one-stop shop that caters to you and your children at every single stage of life. Whether it's welcoming the newest member of your family in Quincy May, dressing your child in Rylee Cru for their first day of school, or celebrating special occasions in a Norley dress, they have an outfit for every occasion. I am absolutely obsessed with this brand. I know you will be too. Norley is a children's occasion wear brand, so they are supplying you with the most darling wedding and ceremony styles, tutus, and matching mama and mini styles for special moments. And I love to match my mini. So if you do too, visit RyleeandCrew.com/shenanigans and use code GOODASGOLD for 20% off your order. That's RyleeandCrew.com/shenanigans and code FAMOUS for 20% off orders of first-time customers. Hulu is the place to go for your favorite reality TV. Hulu gets real. You love reality TV, right? You know every star, every scandal, every tear, and every triumph. You know who else knows reality? Hulu. That's who. With shows like The Kardashians, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, Got to Get Out, Vanderpump Villa, and more, Hulu has reality TV covered. If you're into glamour and romance, things are heating up on Hulu. Catch new seasons of Project Runway and Bachelor in Paradise this summer. And coming soon, catch the all-new reality series Love Thy Nader, starring the Nader sisters. Plus, don't miss an all-new season of Love Island UK streaming only on Hulu. There's so much great reality on Hulu, it's almost too real. Next time you need your reality TV, go to Hulu. Hulu gets real. Right, and we are back.
Well, speaking of never knowing the truth, I saw this TikTok where this girl was like, send me your craziest Vanderpump Rules conspiracy theories, like things that like I'm just are out there. And I was like reading through the comment section and I was like, okay, I kind of want to say these to Scheana and like I want to see her face to see how she reacts and see if there's like any truth to any of these conspiracies.
Activated.
Okay. So here's one conspiracy. I think James has major dirt on Max, and that's why Lisa always forgives James in fear the truth will come out.
Who's Max?
Her son.
Oh, that Max. Yeah.
I don't know, but T.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
You know what? I confirm that. that seems reasonable.
I mean, not no.
Another conspiracy. Lisa Vanderpump told James the easiest way to get on the show was through Kristen.
Wouldn't put it past her.
Huh.
Okay. All right. Another conspiracy. Not super crazy, but I think Rachel and Tom were having an affair when James proposed, and it's why Tom went so over the top.
I've heard this before.
I've heard that too. I don't think so. But also, I didn't think they were having an affair while they were having an affair.
He spent $10,000.
But that's the thing. That's Sandoval.
That's so true,
He sent me
yeah.
money in the pandemic. He is that person where he will just drop thousands. Anytime there was ever any like GoFundMe or something, he was always the highest donation. Like that is just who he is or was.
Okay.
Yeah.
His love language is giving gifts and giving money and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think Rob hung the TV in under 7 minutes.
Oh my.
You know what? He actually didn't. The hardware was already on the wall. He just put the fucking TV on. Why I was so impressed with that, I don't know. Maybe because in my previous relationship, I was the one hanging shit on the walls and doing all of the, the cable box isn't working. I need to set up the Wi-Fi. Like I did all of that stuff in the house.
So the standards were low.
Very low.
I will say though, I got a TaskRabbit and I'm pretty sure he did it in under 7 minutes, like from beginning to end. I will find
Did what? The TV?
Hung the TV. He did it.
Oh,
But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna find the video. Okay, another conspiracy. Jax 1000% messed around with his old manager or whoever that man was.
John from Miami?
I don't know. Who was that man? Who
John
was his
from
manager?
Miami,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I don't think we'll ever know the truth of that one.
yeah. I mean, because it's Jax has to confirm or deny, which is like
Right.
talking in a circle.
Okay. Jax and Kristen were still sleeping together in season 3 and season 4. It was never those 2 times. Watch them in season 4 especially.
Not that I know
Wait,
of.
Jared.
You
Jared
think
is-
so?
I've just heard that a lot, and if you watch,
Heard
this-
it where? In the streets?
on. I've seen it a lot in these comments type stuff, and like a lot of the Reddit say that it didn't just end. I mean, no confirmation from either party involved, but if you do a little rewatch, some things stick out at you.
All right, I'm rewatching season
Yeah.
4.
Mm-hmm.
Jax started to really hate Brittany when she gained weight, and I think that's a huge thing that fueled how mean he was to her, besides all the other horrific stuff.
Isn't that just a fact?
Yeah, I think that's just kind of a fact.
I mean, he literally said it when her mom was over about like what she was eating or something. Like we
Yeah.
saw it on the show. So I think that is just a fact.
Yeah, and it got worse when she got pregnant, which is insane.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's famously what happens when you get pregnant.
Yeah.
You get
It's the one
bigger.
thing we
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Fact.
The Witches of WeHo wasn't just a fun thing. Katie's actually a witch, and Stassi, being from New Orleans, was obsessed with that stuff, and that's why her and Katie became such close friends.
Low key true. Katie is really good at tarot cards and doing that kind of stuff. We've done little seances before. So Katie does have some sort of powers in that. Like you can't just flip over tarot cards and read it and be accurate. You know, it does take
She's connected to that
something.
spiritual.
Oh
world.
my God.
absolutely.
Do you think she's ever put a hex on you?
Wouldn't put it past her.
Katie, remove the hex.
Okay, we'll do one more. LVP knew about Scheana and Brandy's husband, and she leveraged it to aid in getting the show.
Again, my book is available for pre-order on mygoodsidebook.com. All right. Well, thank you again to Kiki and Jared for sticking around for more shenanigans this week. You can get more always of Kiki's takes daily on SiriusXM's Reality Checked. And you can find Jared on This Side of the Hill podcast every week. Okay, now hopefully I can get through the rest of this episode without getting myself into trouble. We had you send in various things to see if I could defend them. I have a feeling I won't be able to defend a lot of them, so let's go. First one, crop top wedding dresses. Whew. Okay, starting with an easy one. Yes, absolutely, I can defend that. I wasn't going to do it again for my second wedding because I did want something a little more timeless and classic, but I can absolutely defend being a trendsetter. And I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but Lady Gaga, the queen of pop herself, even said she liked my crop top wedding dress when I met her at Pump back in 2014, 2015. She was like, you know what? Way to be different, way to stand out. And I mean, as you all know, I've been a fan of hers for so long. But that moment, I was just like, wow, of all people to say that they liked my crop top wedding dress, that was all I needed. Lady Gaga's approval, I can die happy. Next up, can you defend Rob? No, I cannot, and I will never try to. I was overcompensating. And no, I regret that entire season. Also, I know there's a new show called Overcompensating on Prime, which I'm going to be getting into. It is my next binge. I finally finished Mormon Wives. I know we'll get into a little bit more of that because I have seen some comments here. Also, I just finished The Studio, so I'm going to be on to my next binge, and that's it. Can you defend fans coming up to you while you're out? I love when fans come up to me when I'm out, and it's so funny. Recently, I think I said this, a woman who listens to the podcast was like, I know you don't really like people to come up to you when you're eating, and I know you're eating, but I'm going to come up to you anyways. And honestly, at this point, I'm like, whatever, shoot your shot. Whenever you see me out, whatever I may be doing, please come up, say hello, give me a hug. If I have broccoli in my teeth, just let me know before we take a pic, or I'll smile with my mouth closed. Either way. Can you defend buying Adam a penguin? You know what? It's actually a donation. So yes, I can defend that. I made a $1,000 donation to the Aquarium of the Pacific Research, Rehabilitation, whatever. So in that regards, yes, I can defend that. Can you defend porn star mustaches? Depends on the person, if I'm being honest. Brock, I think, can pull off a stash. Some other people who have had a stash on Vanderpump Rules, not so much. Can you defend drunk friends concerned about another drunk friend's drinking? Well, I think when one drunk friend's behavior leads to them not being able to keep their hands to themselves, absolutely. Sometimes, it's maybe not an isolated incident. So, yeah. Can you defend Labubus? Y'all, I just found out what a Labubu was this weekend. I heard something about some stuffies thing that adults are doing. Had no idea what it was. My daughter has not asked for a Labubu yet. I just saw Crystal Minkoff got her daughter, Rob got it in China, this giant Labubu. I know it's a phase, it's a fad, it's a trend, it's whatever, but I don't get it personally. I know they're really hard to get. If my daughter asks for one, then we'll see. But I'm not going to be putting one on my Prada bag. Can you defend Kristen constantly talking shit in the comments on you? I honestly haven't seen those if so no, I cannot defend that if that's been a thing. Can you defend the Peter lap dance? Ooh. I mean, honestly, I probably shouldn't have done it. I don't know what I was thinking in that moment, being in a relationship. I don't know, was it his birthday? No, I don't think I can defend that. I think that was a bit inappropriate, so I'm not going to defend my behavior there. Can you defend Britney Spears not making music again? Y'all, I mean, she has given us such an iconic discography that if she wants to take a break, it is well deserved. She has been an icon for decades. Let the girl rest. Can you defend the side that you think isn't your good side? It's not. You guys, I noticed it last night when I was watching the most recent episode of The Valley. I look different on each side on camera. My mouth moves a little different. It smiles a little different. I have to put more Botox on one side. And my hairline goes back further on my right side. So I stand by it. One side is better looking than the other. And that's the hill I'm going to die on. Can you defend Lexi's lip liner on Summer House? Yes, I actually like it. And whenever I have Priscilla do my makeup, she does a similar liner. And I really like it. I like the overlined lip. I like it when it's a little darker on top. So I can absolutely defend that. You just always have to make sure that both upper lips are even. And that's one thing I do a lip flip for because my lips aren't so even and I don't want to do filler anymore. So that would be my one little thing to add in. Can you defend still saying I did a thing today in 2025? Yes, absolutely. Hence why I said that on my story, because I did a thing and I got a bunch of little tattoos yesterday. So I can defend that. I will keep saying that. If that's a 40-year-old mom thing to say, then you know what? I'm a 40-year-old mom. So There we go. Can you defend your music career? Never been a career. I will say that. Always been a hobby. And everything from the beginning and what I'm working on now, maybe not the music during season 8, but the first couple songs, my EP that I've yet to put out, but even the ones that I've already put out, like Boy Crazy, Sweet and Sour, absolutely. Those are some bangers. But season 8, we can just put in the season 6 box, compartmentalize it, and never go back to it. That's why that music video has been wiped from the internet, and only a few parts of it live on season 8, which I regret. Can you defend those statement earrings from early VPR days? I don't know if you mean statement earrings or statement necklaces, because the necklaces, no, I cannot defend, other than the ones that my friend Jenny Jules at JBug Jules Jewelry made me for the Saint-Tropez dresses in the opening credits. We needed a huge pop of some sort of jewelry and sparkle with those dresses for those shoots. That is the only statement necklace I will defend. However, the statement earrings, like the long ones that I wore in the early seasons of EPR, Tina McDowell made those, and I love those. I stand by those. So yes, I will defend those. Okay. Ooh, you guys sent in a lot. I'm going to take one more break, and then we're going to get back to the rest of these and see if I can defend them. Okay, if you guys are into red light therapy like Brock and I are, then Bond Charge is for you. It is a holistic wellness brand with a huge range of evidence-based products to optimize your life in every way. So when I received mine in the mail, I put it on, and Summer was dying laughing at it. She just thought it was the funniest thing. But shortly after I tried it for the first time, Brock took ownership of it, and he walks around the house with this red light therapy mask on. He is doing the dishes. He's in the garage. Like, he's doing all of these things while wearing it. And that's the great thing, is you don't have to be just sitting on the couch plugged in. Their extensive range of premium wellness products, they help you to sleep better, perform better, have more energy, recover faster, balance hormones, reduce inflammation. I mean, the list is endless. And they have everything from blue light glasses and infrared saunas to red light therapy. So if you have wrinkles or fine lines like me, eczema, I mean, this is absolutely for you. And red light therapy has been reviewed in over 4,000 peer-reviewed studies, with over 400 plus being double-blind placebo trials. So we love that. Go to bondcharge.com and use coupon code GOODASGOLD to save 15%. That's BONCHARGE.com/goodasgold and use coupon GOODASGOLD to save 15%. Y'all know how I feel about therapy, and telehealth has made mental health care more convenient and accessible for millions of people. It is something I advocate for. It is something that I have been in for going on 5 years now. However, I will say critical challenges like finding a suitable therapist, scheduling appointments, and the expensive out-of-pocket cost still, I know, keeps many of you from getting the care that you need. So I want to tell you about Rula. Rula is on a mission to make high-quality mental health care from a licensed professional easy and affordable for everyone. Everyone could use therapy. Trust me, you feel much better. It's like working out. You always feel better when you do it. It's hard to get there, but Rula's got you covered. They take most major insurance plans, and the average copay is only, are you guys ready for this? $15 per session. You can now get the quality care you need when you need it at a price you can afford. And I want to also point out that Rula isn't just affordable. They stick with you throughout your journey, making sure you get the best therapy and that you're making progress. With Rula, every provider is carefully vetted and chosen for their experience. You'll always know when you're in the hands of quality providers who are dedicated to making real progress in your care, which is so important. The first step on your journey to mental well-being is easy. Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head over to rula.com/goodasgold to get started today. After you sign up, they ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them our show sent you. Go to rula.com/goodasgold and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares. All right, we're back with some more. Can you defend Kiki, Kristen, and Tom's bringing Jax to Stassi's Vegas birthday season 1? I mean, yeah, when you're filming a reality show, sometimes you do shit that's maybe a little out of character because it's interesting to watch. And that was interesting to watch. So I get why they did it. It made for an iconic TV moment. Beer was poured, people were pushed, whatever happened, the chunky sweater in the alley or the parking lot, whatever. You see production chasing after Jax. And yeah, there was no way to show that without showing producers in it. So I can defend that. Can you defend being mad at Stassi for not checking on your tooth health? Absolutely. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to pop up those photos of my mouth during that saga. It was absolutely traumatizing. Okay, this wasn't just a situation where I chipped my tooth. It was like 5 surgeries. It was so much trauma. I had to have this tooth completely removed. And because the infection got so bad, we had to fly in cadaver stem cells, bone grafts from like Europe. I mean, it was like wild what we had to do just to rebuild the roof of my mouth. Still couldn't do an implant. Had to do a full bridge. I mean, these 3 are just stuck together forever. Then I did this one. And it's been a whole thing. And, you know, being on a TV show right after this happened, filming, still going to auditions, doing the biggest red carpet I had ever done of my life at Upfronts with a flipper in my purse just in case my tooth that was lightly bonded fell out. I mean, it was traumatizing having fans ask me for photos when I'm used to smiling with my teeth and then I'm trying to get the smize down. And yeah, it was a lot. So I can defend that because it was a big deal. Can you defend telling all of the guys in the van that you wanted them to gangbang you? Okay, we recently talked about this on Bravo, Bravo, effing Bravo. And I'm going to talk about it again here because what happened was all of the girls are going in one van and all of the boys, including my boyfriend at the time, Shay, are going into another van. These girls are not nice. I don't want to get in a car with them for like an hour. I would rather get in with my boyfriend and the guys who are actually nice to me. So I get in the van and Schwartz says something along the lines of like, oh, you getting in this? It's the gangbang van. Haha. Of course, they don't show him saying that or the audio or anything. You just see me getting into the van. I'm responding to Schwartz saying that. And I said, I would rather be gangbanged by all of you than in the car with all of them. But it was because he said it. I didn't just hop in the van and be like, yo, let's gangbang me. Like that never happened. That is how Jax repeated it to the girls. But no, I did not just say I want to be gangbanged. Like who actually wants that? It was a joke in response to Schwartz and that's all. Can you defend Demi telling Taylor Jessi isn't good at hair? No, I cannot defend that. I mean, from now, I will say I've watched the rest of the season. I finally finished it like 2 nights ago. So I do understand all of you in the comment section being like, did we watch the same show? Did she even watch the whole season? No, I hadn't at that point. And I think I explained a little bit of this in the comment section somewhere. But I also have talked to Jessi again since she listened to my podcast last week. And she filled in some of the gaps on the whole contract situation when I recorded last week. And I was around for all of this because Jessi had called me asking for advice when it came to the contracts last summer. So around that time, she told me everything. I totally forgot. This was last summer. I forgot that she wasn't on the call at the beginning of it. And so she felt like Brett was speaking for her, which she was like, no. Like, I'm not in this to try and make X amount of dollars. So I completely understand Jessi not wanting someone else's husband to speak on her behalf, respect that, understand that. I think since I did have all sides of the story then, Jessi's and Demi's, I think that I understood where both of them were coming from. I think Demi started out as wanting to be a girl's girl and advocate for all of them. But once one person wasn't in on that plan, then she was like, all right, fuck it. Then the rest of us should get in on this plan together. I do not think it's okay to try and get one of your best friends kicked off the show. But I also don't think she was really hardcore being like, we need to kick Jessi off. If she was, you know what? I can't defend that. I know what she's told me. I know what Jessi's told me. And I know what I watched on the show. And I now do understand better why every single person in my comment section was like, are we watching the same show? So yes, I've caught up. I've watched it. And I can't wait for whether it's season 2, part 2, or season 3, because so much happens, so much that I know, so much that I'm sure I obviously don't know. And now we see they're all following each other again, commenting on each other's posts. So as we all know, I'm not a person who's just going to cut someone off because someone else doesn't like them. I often, as you guys say, am on the wrong side of history. But let's say season 3, season 2, part 2, whatever comes around and Demi is the fan favorite again. Was I supposed to stop being her friend because she doesn't look so good season 2 and then season 3 everyone likes her again? It's like, I don't roll like that. We're friends. Could she have done some things better season 2? Absolutely. We all could have. This industry is not easy. If you put a camera behind any one of you listening to this podcast every day for like 10 weeks, you're going to do some shit that you're not super proud of. So when people are new, especially, it's like, it's tough. And there's nothing normal about what we do. And I think everyone's just trying to put their best foot forward, make a good show, and make a good living for their families. Anyway, wait, I feel like I got super sidetracked and didn't actually answer that. Jessi isn't good at hair. Yes, no, Jessi is great at hair. Jessi's done my hair at my house and at Jay-Z Styles. I flew to Utah and I thought she was fantastic. So anyway, back to, can you defend Janet not comforting Michelle at her Dave & Buster's birthday? Yes, I can defend that. It was her birthday. Dave & Buster's is like Janet's Roman Empire. It is her holy grail. It is her place of happiness. So I understand that. Can you defend Brock missing the studs when hanging Charlie's TV? Yes and no. It was just meant to be a funny bit, and he didn't have all of the right tools. He was told that we were just filming the scene and they had everything there to hang the TV. It was just for a little vlog to time him. I don't think he actually planned on that TV staying up for the remainder of them living in this apartment. But he definitely should have fixed it or taken it down until it could have been hung properly. I'll say that. Can you defend having Jessi's location after only knowing her a day? Well, it was not only knowing her a day. We had actually hung out a couple times before that. When I first had Taylor and Macy on my podcast and they told me that Jessi was a fan of Vanderpump Rules, watched the show, wanted to meet me. The next day or the day after, I ended up meeting Jessi and Jordan with Brock for lunch at Casa Vega. We hung out for hours, talked, and then we were in regular communication, texting or voice noting or FaceTiming pretty often. So when she came back out to do my podcast, I was in an Uber on the way to pick her up and I was like, you guys know me. I share my location with everyone. So I said, I was like, I'm just going to give you my location. I don't know why I didn't think to share the Uber trip, but I gave her my location so she knew with traffic when I was going to be approaching the hotel. She then immediately shared her location back. At the time, I didn't know if it was until the end of day for 24 hours or indefinitely. Turns out it was indefinitely. So she even made a joke to me that night. And she's like, wait, isn't this what got you in trouble, sharing your location last season? And I was like, no, actually, this is what got the other person in trouble because I then knew where Max was. I've had Marciano's location for probably a year. So I knew where he was and I just happened to know where she was because she shared her location earlier that day with me. And, I can't help it if someone wants to share their location with me. I'm not taking their phone, going into the Find My app and like sharing it. You know, it's not some weird, sneaky, creepy thing. So anyway, that, yes, I can defend it. Can you defend wearing big hoop earrings on a hike? Yes, I can. I wear hoop earrings almost every day. And I'll be honest, that wasn't like a full hike that day. We were at Runyon. We went up the hill and we stopped at the bench. If I was going to continue going up the stairs, to anyone who's been at Runyon before, and do the entire hike, honestly, I may have still worn the hoops because I'm not jogging, but I knew it was a very short hike that day and I had somewhere to go right after. And when my hair's up, I like to have earrings in. Whether I'm on a hike or not, I just feel really plain if my hair is back in a bun without a big earring or sunglasses. All right, next up, can you defend Michelle for her comment about the gay guy sending Jessi money? I mean, after all the things he said about her, I think she can say whatever the fuck she wants. So yeah, it was a lot of money. You know, I would question that too. Can you defend being friends with both Demi and Jessi? Absolutely. I think they are both great girls, amazing moms. And I think, you know, they definitely have some conversations that they need to, some shit they need to work through. But I think they can get back on the same page. I know they recently started following each other again. And I talked to Jessi a couple days ago and we just said how much fun it was in Utah when the three of us hung out and that we should do that again. So I think this will all play out on the next part of the season whenever those episodes drop. And yeah, you know, I'm glad that I've stuck by both of them because I love and adore both of them. And I think they're both fantastic television. Can you defend not inviting Ariana to your birthday party? I did invite Ariana to my birthday party. She was out of town. She was in New York for Watch What Happens Live, and she told me that. So there's that. Can you defend John Mayer claiming you never had a relationship? I mean, we never were in a relationship. I never said that. But if you do want more details of that non-relationship, you can read my book. Pick it up for pre-order at mygoodsidebook.com. Can you defend LVP for not showing up to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion? No, I cannot. And as my producer, if I didn't show up to a reunion, I know should likely say that it's my job to show up and face the music, et cetera, et cetera. And I think she even said that about Adrienne Maloof seasons prior when she didn't show up. So indefensible. Can you defend Stassi for appearing on Vanderpump Villa? I mean, of course, it's a bridge to her new future in the reality TV space. And I think her new show is going to be great. I can't wait to watch it. So I can absolutely defend that. Can you defend LVP for her comments about your book? Yes and no. I know she was asked a question on Watch What Happens Live suggesting that I was out there saying I'm spilling tea about her in my book, which, as I've cleared up on this podcast, isn't exactly the truth. I never claimed that in that way. Kristen made a comment on a podcast and kind of sensationalized it. Lisa is not a focal point of my book. I'll say that. But she was my boss for many years and she is a big part of my story. So, of course, things about her come up in the book, but I'm not trashing her in the book. I don't trash anyone. I think it's just my lived experiences. But I will say, knowing Lisa as well as I do, she doesn't like when anything is said about her that diverges from the neatly manicured persona she likes to put out there and have crafted. So I'm sure there will be moments that, you know, she doesn't love that are in the book. But this is a behind the scenes look at all of the aspects of my life, like literally every single thing. It's not just the facade. So we'll see what the response is when the book comes out. But again, if you have not pre-ordered, I don't know if there are still signed copies, but if so, I would get on those quickly because I am not signing anymore. Those are on Premiere and Barnes & Noble. but you can get all of the information at mygoodsidebook.com. And to wrap this up, a Jax hole for the week. And also, I just want to point out, because a lot of you were like, oh, copy and watch what happens live with the Can You Defend It segment. Yeah, I did get it from there. I pulled inspiration from one of my favorite shows, hence the Jax hole. I changed it a little bit, but I wouldn't say it's copying. I would say it's just paying homage to the Andy Cohen. So Jax hole for the week. So many options with the men in this group, you know? But I'm going to give it to Zach yet again, because as Kristen said, she gets all of her information from Zach. Everyone wants to say that Janet is the gossip and the cancer of the group, which I obviously strongly disagree with. You know, Zach is the one repeating rumors about Jason and repeating things and twisting it that Janet supposedly said, the whole racist Republican thing. So, Jax hole of the week, Zach Wickham. But anyways, thank you guys all so much for listening, sending in your prompts. That was a fun little game, and I think we'll probably play it again. If you're watching on YouTube, please comment below if you have any other ideas of fun segments and games that you want to see me do in my solo spills or with Kiki, Jared, whoever may be sitting on this couch and gracing us with their presence. So pre-order my book, mygoodsidebook.com, and we'll be back next week getting into some more shenanigans. Thanks for listening and watching, guys. Bye.